DeSantis and Haley are focused on gaining ground in the New Hampshire primary, now just a week away. Let's bring in Galen Druk from ABC's 538 for more on that. Galen, first, these Iowa results look remarkably similar to your 538 Iowa polling average. What does that tell you?
Well, Diane, it's always a good night in the 538 offices when the polls are accurate. And I should say, at 538, what we do is we aggregate the polls that are out there. So I should also be congratulating the pollsters who are doing really hard work and getting very accurate results despite declining response rates to polls. I can come on some other time and make a big argument in favor of the polls and defend them and tell you why they still matter. But ultimately, we care what the American public thinks. So it should be good news for everyone when the polls are accurate, because it's our best tool for understanding American public opinion. I will also say, for the purposes of this race, the fact that the results were very close to what the polls showed suggests there isn't some sort of phantom lurking beneath the surface that's going to really upset the dynamics that we thought were at play in this race. If the polls were pretty accurate in Iowa, perhaps they will also be accurate in New Hampshire, South Carolina, and nationally. And if that's the case, this is very much Donald Trump's primary to lose.
Asa Hutchinson and Vivek Ramaswamy are now out after Iowa. So how does that affect the race going forward?
Well, I don't want to be too harsh, but Asa Hutchinson's departure means that his 0.5% of support or 0% support, depending on where you're looking, will now go to somebody else.
Okay, so maybe not a huge impact there. I get your point.
But Vivek Ramaswamy, I think we could say he was largely pulling from a Trump-supportive part of the electorate. So his support will likely now go to Trump or maybe DeSantis. But the reality is he was focusing his campaign a lot on Iowa. And now that Iowa is in the past, his support in New Hampshire, South Carolina, and subsequent states is not as strong. So it will help Trump, probably, but it won't help him all that much. And in the end, in a lot of these states, Trump is polling at about 63% nationally on average. He probably doesn't even need Vivek Ramaswamy's help at this point.
What do you make of these entrance polls and what they say about who fueled this dramatic win by former President Trump?
Yeah, so I think looking into the data, you do see certain trends. It was more conservative voters, older voters, people who associated with the MAGA message. I mean, there were specific questions in the entrance polls about how you feel about the Make America Great Again message. And we do see that Nikki Haley performed better amongst college-educated Republicans. DeSantis performed better amongst white evangelical Republicans. But in some ways, I think that digging into the data in that kind of detail misses the forest for the trees. In last night's caucus, Donald Trump won amongst men. He won amongst women. He won amongst people with a four-year college degree. He won amongst people who just have a high school degree. He won in rural areas, he won in cities, and he won in suburban areas. And so really, the story of last night is one about his strength.
All right. 538 Politics podcast host Galen Druk. Galen, always great to have you on. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.